Hey there, and welcome. So, today we're going to unpack something you've probably seen a million times, a simple food package. But what if I told you that inside this box there's way more than just food? There's actually a story about connection, about community, and about how one small act of kindness can make a huge difference. Let's dive in. And that's a great question, right? We usually think of heroes as these larger than life characters with superpowers. But what if a real hero is just a neighbor, you know? Someone who shows up not with a cape, but with a carton of milk and a helping hand. That's the kind of everyday heroism we're going to explore. You know, every big change, every movement, it always starts small. It starts with just one person who decides to do something. So let's start right there. Who is this person? And what makes them kick off this whole chain reaction of kindness? We hear the word volunteer all the time, but what does it actually mean when you break it down? To really get the power of this story, we've got to first understand the person who's right at the heart of it.
And there it is. It's so beautifully simple. It's not about a paycheck. It's not even about getting a thank you. The real driver here is just pure kindness. A volunteer is someone who sees a need and just says, yep, I can help with that. No strings attached.
Okay, so we've got our volunteer. Now for the fun part. Let's actually look inside the box. We're going to unpack this thing item by item and see how an act of care is literally assembled. So picture this empty box. It's not just cardboard, right? It's really a promise of support. Every single thing that goes inside is chosen carefully, not just to provide calories, but a little bit of comfort and health too. First things first, you've got the essentials. We're talking fresh veggies like carrots and tomatoes, some solid canned goods like beans and corn, and of course, staples like milk, bread, and cheese. These are the absolute building blocks for a good, nourishing meal. And then you have the extras. This is what brings a little bit of comfort, a pack of biscuits, some fresh fruit like a bunch of bananas, a bottle of juice, and yeah, even a simple bar of chocolate. This isn't just about survival. It's about providing a small moment of joy. Okay, now stick with me here because this is a really fascinating little detail. It's not just what's in the package, but how we actually talk about it. The language we use is super specific, and that precision, well, it's part of the act of care itself. For example, you wouldn't just say chocolate. You'd say a bar of chocolate. That specificity is so important. It tells you it's a complete, defined unit. And it's the exact same idea with milk. It's a carton of milk. This isn't just being picky about grammar. It tells the person receiving it exactly what to expect, how it's packaged, how it's meant to be delivered. Or a bunch of bananas. See what I mean? It might seem small, but using this kind of practical language makes sure everyone is on the same page. In its own quiet way, it's the language of being responsible and caring. All right, so the package is all packed up with care. Now, let's follow it on its journey. The focus really shifts to the volunteer now, because this is more than a delivery. It's a promise that's on its way to being kept. And this whole process is a serious commitment. It all starts with picking up the package. Then you've got the actual journey, where you have to be super careful with everything. But that last step, that's the most important one. You keep your promise. You deliver. And this right here says it all. It's not always a simple walk to the front door. Sometimes, yeah, you've got to climb some stairs. Volunteering isn't always glamorous or easy. And that physical effort, that's part of what makes the whole thing so incredibly meaningful. So this brings us right to the heart of it all. Why go through all this trouble? Because this package is carrying something so much more valuable than groceries. It's delivering a real human connection. So who are these packages actually for? They're for our neighbors. Maybe it's an elderly person who has a tough time getting to the store, or a family that's dealing with an illness, or, anyone who just needs to know someone's thinking of them. These are real people right in our own community. Okay, let's zoom out and put all these pieces together. What's the ultimate impact of this one simple act? Why do we share? It's all about the powerful ripple effect that can start with just a single food package. And really, it all boils down to this simple but profound idea. The goal isn't just to help one person for one day. It's to strengthen the entire community fabric. Every single package that gets delivered makes the neighborhood just a little bit kinder, a little more connected for everybody. And here's the final, most powerful takeaway of all. That physical act, delivering a package, it directly translates into building character.
What you do literally shapes who you are. You're not just doing a helpful task. You are actively being a kind, responsible, and helpful person.
And that just leaves us with one final thought to chew on. We've seen how a few groceries in a box can become this powerful message of care and community. So the question for all of us is, what simple act of kindness, big or small, can you do today to make your own neighborhood just a little bit better?